Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to Intelligent Voices Israelites. Today we have a very good program that we will be talking about, which we had brought up in one of our last videos that we just launched yesterday. This will be a logic teaching here to show everyone what is about to happen and what is to come after these elections, as we have seen with Kamala Harris and President Trump. Which is basically foretelling the knowledge of my father, your father, Yisrael Ye'shobiyah. So now here understanding the son of Yahweh that these logics of informations that have been calculated each year, every time there is a meeting with the officials of the UN, which is never ever aired on television. These are the behind the scenes things that they are doing and have done, as we have shown you to see if our paperwork dealing with how the borders were open wide for the coming of many immigrants and many other terrorist backgrounds who have now come into her, which is daughter Babylon. So now we are going to discuss the matter to allow everyone to know why we are saying prepare yourselves. Because if you haven't noticed, everyone, the world is showing a sign. And here it is. Many people are wondering, right? And it's out of fear because here it is. They have no information on what is going on. They see a lot of things, but what we're going to give you is the receipts. Because like we said, there are many of us stationed throughout of America and the globe that has their hands and their eyes on certain paperwork and things from the government systems who have also stepped down, many of them. But due to the step down, there was a distribution of all plans that have been put into force for upon America and the American people and abroad around the globe to force many other countries into submission, as you have looked at Taiwan being ruled now by China, who is in an alliance with many other evil entities that wants to share their power with the coming system. So your brother Yisrael Ye'shobiyah, we will be going into the precepts a little later, but I will be doing the reading, and this is where you will be taking all of your notes, everyone, of these camps. As we see the title, you see the title, and yes, we're talking about you. And we're talking about your families who are probably not close to you, but are living in other states. So we're going to give all the information for each state. So therefore, many of you who are scattered around the globe will understand what your friend, your brother, Yisrael Ye'shobiyah, have been sent to give you. Because as we know, as the gospel is being preached throughout the world, my father, your father, has stated, until that happens, the end will come. As we know, it is getting closer and closer as we have reached the beginning of the trials in the tribulation. So many of you vote all the time for different election officials without the knowledge of knowing what these officials have their hands in behind the scenes, who they have been affiliated with, some of the things they have participated in. So here it is. We, by our Father, Yahuwah, have allowed this to be saved for the last of days, for that final hour. As I have stated, you're not in the last days, you're in the last seconds of minutes. Because here it is, there is a coming, which is all around everyone. So get prepared for what we are about to do in this segment here at IVI. I appreciate all of you who are tuning in today live to listen in. Please take notes wherever you may, because we're going to also talk about your city as well. Every city, wherever these camps have been now formed and renovated to take American citizens in. So let's get into it. Grab some water, whatever you like to eat or snack on, and please have your Bibles, please, prepared. Got a little bit more there. have your Bibles prepared, everyone, because here it is. You're going to need to hear this information. You won't hear it nowhere. You can go look everywhere, but you won't find it. Why? Because when the last executive order was signed, all of this information from the government was shut down, completely erased. But why? Because they didn't want you to find or have access to this anymore by the signing of the executive orders that has been signed multiple times by different president officials and his administrations who are working with the councils of the UN. So it goes very deep of what we're going to share today, but it's going to allow you to understand why you've been sleeping. They've been building, just as Noah in his days. Because now, as we have stated, it will be like the days of Noah when the end comes, but not by water, but by chaos. And this chaos leads upon the people of the nations. That's right, taking sides, right? So let's go into prayer before we start. I always like to go to my Father with that word. Almighty Father, my Father, I come to you, your Son, with my whole spirit and life, with my brothers and my sisters who have returned to you. I give thanks unto you, Father, for the power and the glory that you have installed into the body. I thank you for uplifting my friends, my brothers, and all of the neighboring foreigners who are coming into this grace out of their religions, but back into their identity as Israelites. So may your power be to help them in these last days to be protected by the shield that you have therefore designed. In your name, Father, we praise you. Amen. When it comes to things being made, as such as this cookie, at first glance, one look at the desire of this cookie. And as we have stated before, everyone, things look what they want you to believe. But when you look closer at this cookie, you can see that this cookie is not perfect, even though they want you to say it's perfect in their image, right? But when you look closer, the cookie is not perfect because of all of the grooves and the grain differences. And then as you see here, it's not smooth at all. So now here it is. When one desires a cookie, you got to say it is not perfect because it's not in the image of perfect. It's in the desire of a merchant to sell it to you. So what did my father say will happen to merchants? They will be destroyed, will be eaten. Until a cookie is no more. No more sweet to you, because the truth have come to give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? So now let's go and look, as I will read here. FEMA concentration camps. Yes, there are concentration camps in the United States of America. These camps have now been confirmed by mainstream and alternative news sources and have been built for the wholesale of slaughter of the American public. Barbed wire fences facing inward, human transport rail cars, mass coffins, human incinerators of Nazi German death camps are all present at all of these FEMA facilities, if you didn't know. When these camps will open for business is a question the whole world should be asking. Now, you can take a lot of this from my book that will be coming out, The Cry of Israel, pretty soon. Operation Endgame. Many of you might have heard of this, but many of you don't understand what Operation Endgame really is that came out of the Bush and the Clinton administrations. even through senior Bush administration. Operation Endgame is a 2003 and 12 plan under implications by the Office of Detentions and the removal of operations of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Bureau of Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. Now, we just released to you the CFR paperwork, allowing you to see why you have open borders and why they will never close, even though Trump wants to close them. The goal of Operation Endgame is to detain a depot of all removable, here it is, resistors, suspected terrorists currently living in the United States, as we see by 2025. These foreigners or suspected terrorists or homegrown terrorists as well will be removed from the United States, will likely suffer the same fate that, here it is, other foreigners or suspected terrorists face in Nazi Germany when actually they used gas for those who had typhus. Why? They used gas because it became a large infestation in those camps, with so many people being piled into small spaces. So therefore, these people became ill and sick, and they most likely, all of them, suffered from typhus. So my brothers and sisters, look it up. We have the official document on the day that this gas chambers was being used from Germany. We have the actual paperwork. So now, this was the COG, which is called the Continuity of Government, CLOG, COG. That is the code name. The continuity of operation plans refers to the preparation and institutions maintained by the United States government for the survival of the federal government operations in the case of a catastrophic event. Now, as my father have stated, there will be earthquakes everywhere, and there will be fires, catastrophics everywhere. And therefore, you are seeing this everywhere. But what is about to happen will split this earth completely open. But as we see, the storms are ripping apart the southern border of Florida, unlike it has ever been in 150 years. Now, George Bush administration put the continuity operation plan into effect for the first time directly from the September 11, 2001 agenda attacks. This plan would be fully implemented in the event of the Obama assassination, which never happened. Because here it is, Obama went 2 terms to make sure the UN's decree was set in place. Rex 84, the readiness exercise, right? 1984, as you have maybe did the research, is a contingency plan developed by the United States federal government to suspend the United States Constitution. Are we sinking in now, everyone? So you can see that you're not safe, and why my father says, come out of her to the best of your ability in your spirit. Declare martial law will place military commanders in charge of state and local governments and detain large numbers of American citizens who were deemed to be national security threats. It is you and I, brothers and sisters, the Israelites who are spreading the gospel of truth throughout the world. We will be labeled terrorists. This plan will be enacted in the event that the President of the United States declares a state of domestic national emergency. See this? You might have never heard of these, but this is what's finna happen. As you see the storms in Florida, as we are pushing closer to the elections, everything my father have told you through the sun is accurate for your information. For you finding IVI is a big piece for your lives. Violent Radicalization and Homegrown Terrorism Prevention Act. This was signed in 2007. Now understand this is before, okay? as Barack came, and here it is, to make sure the executive orders was locked in place, to make sure every president, so on and so on, from Bush to Clinton and so on, to make sure these be enforced. It has been also rewritten and re-strategized for multiple times. The Senate bill is called S-1959, permits the U.S. government to classify many types of venerated, that's right, American political activists. So now you see, it's talking about those who resist the one world religion, as the Pope had already come around that time into the United States of New York to go to every atheism, Catholic atheism, to therefore bless them, to therefore throw out anyone who resists against this bill, such as civil disobedience, which will be labeled as terrorism. This law will be used to round up any person that chooses to disobey this order. Now you understand what your brother has been telling you. You will get that paper in the mail for a one world religion, okay? You already done received the chip unknowingly, everyone. When they came out around 2007, every bank changed their debit card, and they lied to you by saying that it was because of terrorism and those who were frauding it, taking the cards and copying. But really, it was giving you the chip. My Father has forgiven all for that, all who have returned. Regardless of their continuality, Presidential Directive 51 comes into place. The White House National Security and Homeland Security Presidential Directive 51. This is the code name. So when you're going to start hearing Directive 51, this is a code name for all countries that are included with the plan. Allows the president to executive produces or procedures to continue of the federal government in the event of a catastrophic emergency, such as emergencies is constructed as any incident regardless of location. So their hand power would be able to go in deeper regions in countries and locations. That results in extraordinary levels of mass casualties. Oh yes, those who lie in the street, the witnesses that bear witnesses to my Father's truth, who will therefore be the witnesses as we are today, preaching the gospel of truth. Do you see this lining up from your text of precepts? Level of mass casualties, damage, disruptive, severely affecting the U.S. population, infrastructure, environment, economic, government functions. Should Obama, now this was the time of Obama implementing his plan to help formulate a plan upon the American people. There is no doubt that the new president, Joe Biden, will enact this law. See, Biden is only the puppet to sign the last act, and he stepped down to hand it over to drunk Liberty, Kamala Harris. So now what I am reading to you have never been disclosed to anyone. Enemies, belligerent act. These are why you're seeing many of those on your street corners smoking these drugs that therefore have them looking like zombies bent over. This is all on purpose. This is called the Senate Bill S-3081. Allows for the infantry detentions of any person, including American citizens. So all of these people will be rounded up, just as those who was Israelis in the Nazi camps. And here it is, most of them in certain cities are already in these camps. Who is deemed to be unprivileged enemies, belligerent, without criminal charge or trial for the duration of hostilities against the United States. So that includes Israelites, brothers and sisters. That includes those who are heavily on the drugs that you might stop at your red light and see. This is all on purpose. What I am reading to you comes directly from the plans of the government UN system. Its coalition partners in which the individuals has engaged, or which the individuals have purposely and materially supported. The law basically allows any person at any time to be arrested and held without bail, trial for any amount of time deemed necessary by the U.S. government. So now you understand, many of you might miss the last council meeting, which was on you, thinking about you, putting you in prisons without legal representations. Okay, this is what's coming. In 25, this is what starts. By the U.S. government, this law paves the way for mass arrests and the wholesale extermination that is sure to follow. Now, many of you might have heard of the casket liners that was bought in Georgia. That information was linked on purpose to see how many people would pay attention, because they were running exercise with Jada Ham 13, 14, and 15 in this country, okay? Because they are preparing for a catastrophic chaos, nations against nation war against the system of a one world religion. Human cattle cars you might have seen in many areas where you might live. The U.S. government has contracted with several companies, namely the KBR, okay, to build thousands of rail cars for human transportations, which are reportedly equipped with shackles to transport political detainees. Now that is you and I, brothers and sisters, who are against the system, and that is the American people of the patriot, who are against and will be against this system because they are Christians and many other different religions. So do you now see the catastrophic chaos happening with nations against nations in Matthew 24, which we will get to soon, because I will break that whole thing down for you because it goes together with this. Unfortunately, history repeats, and this is the exact same scenario, everyone, that was used in Nazi Germany to transport victims to gas chambers or detention facilities. According to the diplomat and another, Peter Dale Scott, you need to look up this man, because this was part of the plan with NASA having a base right near the launch pad. Many of you don't know that. Contract is part of the Homeland Security Plan titled Operation Endgame. See, we go right back to the top, which sets as its goal the removal of all removable foreigners who have entered the border and potential terrorists from the United States. You might have heard also, by when the casket liners came out, everyone, about the mass grave that was built at all of these facilities that I will soon give name and locations to, okay, in every city and state. Mass coffins have been appearing in strategic locations throughout the United States over the last couple of years, right? While the U.S. government official explains that the coffins are for catastrophic emergencies. See how they use it? There is a growing suspicion among the Americans, right? Because many of you have saw it, that something far more sinister may be going on. Whatever catastrophic event is about to transpire, the U.S. federal government will be able to bury hundreds, thousands, if not millions of people in an extremely short amount of time. Brothers and sisters, this is not a game. As you see, this country is basically already fallen. but it hasn't fallen to the last call of the last angel to give the last rite of seal breaking. But this is a warning to all in America and around the globe. If you do not know, today here at IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelite, sitting with your brother, your friend, Yisrael Ye'shobiyah, in the spirit of Yahweh, I ask you to completely take this serious, because if you don't, then this whole video is not for you. Where are these camps, you might say? Bear with me as I now go into allowing you to know where are these camps. Let's start with Alabama, which was a military compound very near the town. Alexville, which was a World War II German camp, refurbished, and now have a capacity of 15,000 that it can hold. On the opposite side of town from the Army Depot in Alabama. Then you have Maxwell, Montgomery, civilian prison camp, established under Operation Garden Plot. Currently operating with support staff and small inmate population. As I said, in Denver, many people disappeared off the street. In Seattle, many people, homeless people, disappeared off the street. They were taken in the night. Talladega Federal Prison, which is a satellite camp. That's right, satellite. Okay. Let's move now to Arkansas, because I'm going to go deeper into also explaining more locations and more facilities. Alaska, east of Archer, has no roads, has railroad access only. Estimated capacity is 500,000, and it's in the El Mardolph Air Force Base near it. It used to be the Air Force Base. Northeast area, far end of the base, is Garden Plot Facility, because they have a lot of wilderness where a lot of these camps are at, everyone. Now, as we have shown you Alabama and now Alaska, southwest of Fairbanks is another Operation Garden Plot facility in Alaska. Fort Wainwright, Fort Wainwright, east of Fairbanks. Now we're moving on to Arizona. Fort Huckleback, 20 miles from Mexico border, 30 miles from Nogales, Rex 84 facility. Pino County on the Gila River, which this facility used to be for the Japan or Japanese back in World War II, which was a detention camp, now have been renovated. Yuma County on the Colorado River, site of used to be for former Japanese, and it now has been renovated as a detention camp near, here it is, Proving Grounds. This site was completely moved in 1990, according to some reports that we have gotten. They moved it just a little bit, few miles over. Phoenix, federal prison satellite camp, main federal facility has been expanded to take on Americans and to imprison them. Florence prison camp has now been renovated and is operational with staff of 400 prisoners. Operational capacity that it can hold is 3,500 people. Wickenburg is ready for conversion and has been converted. It has a total capacity, which is now undisclosed and unknown. Tucson is fully staffed and presently holding prisoners. Like I keep telling you, these prisoners are basically people off the street that therefore and now have been in experiment programs, and many of them are Guantanamo Bay, also been transferred to some of these facilities. Sedona, site of possibility for a UN base. When you go to Sedona, that is a UN base. Many of them are seeing a lot of UN vehicles there, but many are not telling people because they are in on this plan. Let's move on to Arkansas. So now when we get to Arkansas, near Fort Smith, has a new runway for aircraft, have built numerous new camps, facilities with a capacity to hold 40,000 prisoners. Pine Bluff. This location is also a B&Z nerve agent. Oh, yes. This is why I say they have been running tests on the homeless. Okay. And here it is. This is going to be used on some civilians in some countries, which cause sleepiness, dizziness, and also admitted use is civilian control. So here it is. These are nerve agents that people are being shot with to be tested before they release it as a chemical into the certain countries in certain states. Jerome Chico, Drew County, which was a Japanese also camp. Dutchy County, and was also a Japanese camp. All of these have been renovated, refurbished, now being used as camp. Now wooden barracks have been constructed at these locations. Classic decorations, guard towers, barbed wire, high fences, and now Berryville, because we're still in Arkansas. This facility is located east of Eureka Springs off of Highway 62. Omaha, northeast of Berryville, near Missouri state line on Highway 65 south of Oldwood processing plant. See, they all renovated all of these factories, and here it is, are basically using them for the process of the Americans and many other foreign unallied countries. Possible is for the bodies to be used to be, here it is, be burned up crematorially. These are facilities for crematorium. So all bodies will be sent here, those who are being put in the casket liners. Okay. Let's move on to California. Vandenberg, which is another Rex 84 facility, located near Lompoc, St. Maria, interment facility. It's an internment facility. It's located near the ocean side, close to Space Launch Complex 6, and also called Slick 6. So if you ever hear any officials or anyone who have been in the military and had a high ranking, you might hear them, who therefore now probably on high drugs, mention Slick 6. This could be your uncle, your auntie, or anyone who may be out of bound the government or military standards will know about Slick 6. Which launch site has had a flawless failure record. So now you see what your brother is saying. They're testing chemical warfare, okay? And it is rarely used. Norton is a closed base now, but now has reopened and staffed with UN. According to some sources, Tule Lake area of wildlife refuge, accessible by an unpaved road. Now, many of you might have heard about Walmart, who have created train railroads under the stores, which is accurate. And many of those people are in the occult and fully aware of what they're doing and why, okay? Just inside Modoc County, Fort Ord, close to 1999, this facility is now urban warfare training center for U.S. and foreign troops. That's why I mentioned Jada Ham 13, 14, and 15, who had exercises in many states of America. And many people was running and wondering why this is happening. Are they here to take our guns? Are they here to start the invasion? Well, now you're getting an opportunity to understand what was really truly going on. Everything must come in the proper time, brothers and sisters. And may some of the POWs will be in these facilities, CI's enclosures. Here it is for 29 Palm Marine Base, birthplace of infamous POWs, would shoot American citizens. These foreigners that is working with Jada Ham. Many camps being built on the back 40, Oakdale, which is another Rex 84 camp, capable of holding at least 20,000, here it is, people, which is 90 miles east of San Francisco. Now, as you see, as we are getting into logic to show you the truth of what's truly going on and what is being dug up now and being revealed to you. Terminal Island by Long Beach, located near the Naval Shipyard, operated by Chicon Shipping Interests. Now, this is a company that's formulated with the chips, with the banks and many other things also they have had their hands in, which was a federal prison facility. Now here it is, have been refurbished to house Americans. Located possible deportation point. Fort Irwin, which is FEMA facility near Barstow. Base is designated inactive, but has staff camped there. McLean Air Force Base facility is capable of holding 30,000 to 35,000 Sacramento people. Army Depot, which it was, no specific information has been released anymore. As I say, they took everything down. This was 10 years ago. Mathers, also Air Force Base, has a road to the facility, is blocked off by cement barriers and a stop sign. So some of these camps won't let you get as close anymore. But people have now drones, right? Sign states area is restricted. You might see this when you drive up to these locations. As of 1997, there were a barbed wire fence pointing inward. See, this is how far back they have been planning and doing the refurbishing. A row of stadium lights pointed towards an empty field. Now, this empty field is where the 12-foot guillotines are at. And they will actually execute the prisoners after 11 days. If you do not say that you will join the one world religion, which stands for, here it is, unity in religion. Black boxes on poles. As you have seen now, they have put cameras up everywhere. Here, this was the test point as they have taken many homeless people off the street, and therefore in Seattle. And here it is used to monitor them and seeing how well these cameras can work and see them even in the night or what they're doing, seeing through walls and all kind of things, right? Let's move on to Colorado, which was a Trinidad war base to house German and Italian terraces, but now have been refurbished for Americans, renovated. Power County, Fort Carson, along Route 115 near Canyon City. Connecticut, Delaware, they have completely embubbled this whole place where no one can look in or see out. Florida, Avon Park. Avon Park has an on-base correctional facility, which was a former, here it is, detention camp, and now have been made for Americans. Camp Crone, the DOJ Detention Interrogation Center, that is what it is now. So those who therefore will get the opportunity to see if they would join, they will go there. And then they will go to the other facilities to be exterminated, which is another Rex 84 facility. This base is over 30 miles long from the Pensacola to the Highway 331 in Duflix Springs high capacity facility. So now, as you see, many people are going to have to decide, will they join the one world religion? Because you're going to get interrogated here. And therefore, they're using railroad and many other means to get you to the other facilities if you have denial, which most of you Israelites, my brothers, will actually, here it is, deny. Presently manned and populated with some prisoners. Pensacola was a federal camp. It is believed that a facility has been carved out of the wilderness right in the back, because what they decided, oh, we like using that guillotine there, so let's put one here, and they put them everywhere. Let's move on to Georgia. Fort Benning, located east of Columbus near Alabama state line. This is another Rex 84 prison brought in, here it is, by Lawson Army Air Force, by the Fort Mac, here it is, U.S. Force Commandment Center. Here's another interrogation center. See, they are setting all of this up already, and every president was in on it. Multiple reports that this will be the national headquarters and the coordinating center for the foreign UN troops movement and detainees collections. See this? Because here it is, brothers and sisters. This is going to happen while you're sleeping. So that's why we tell you, my Father speaks. Be ready, be woke, be aware. Look at your surroundings, at the people that is here, because most of them are in on it. But you have to understand, you have to stay a part of the plan. Now that we are allowing you to see, my Father, he picks the right time for everything. Fort Gordon, we're still in Georgia, west of Augusta. And here it is, they have completely took all knowledge down of this facility. But we know before they did it, our people got all of the paperwork that we needed for the time to now address this information fully. Because here it is just like that other camp in Florida. They have no way to look out or in. And here it is, they have taken down all information, but they have put in the back guillotines. Not one, not two. Think of 12. They want to kill at a mass level. No, understand, Doley County have manned staff. And here it is a FEMA Rex 84 camp been reconverted. And it's on Route 230. Here it is, no prisoners of yet. And Macon County facility is located 5 miles. Here it is, Montezuma, 3 miles from O.W.R.S.U. I hope I pronounced that right. This FEMA prison has no staff and no prisoners of yet. But more people from the UN are moving in, as we have got updates on, because what's about to happen, they're getting ready now. Morgan, Calhoun County, FEMA facilities fully manned and staffed. No prisoners of yet. These ones that I am mentioning of no prisoners yet is because they are waiting for the moment after the election in that one season to pass. But here it is, as we stated, as soon as the re-up of taking all these foreigners who have come from different lands and also those who are preaching the gospel, they are using these for us, if they can catch you. South of Auburn, that's where it's at, Camilla, Mitchell County, south of Auburn. This FEMA facility is located on Mount Zion Road, approximately 5.7 miles south of Camilla. It is right now unmanned, no prisoners, no staff. Harkinsville, Wilcox County, 5 miles east of town, fully manned and staffed, but have no prisoners yet. Located on the Fire Road 100, Upper River Road, Abbeville, south of Hawkinville, on US Route 129 is the location. South of town, off Route 280, near Ocmulgee River. Okay. FEMA, which is another Rex 84 facility, has staffed, but no prisoners yet. McRae, Telfair County, 1.5 miles west of McRae of Highway 134, 8th Street. This facility is Ironton Ave off of 8th Street, is manned and staffed, but have no prisoners yet. See, they're holding all of these camps open around your areas, everyone, because when this light go out, whoa. That's why my father says, you better hope this don't happen on the Sabbath or in winter, okay? So hold that thought, because we're going to go to the precept and I'm going to show you everything. Fort Gillem, south side of Atlanta, because we're still in Georgia, which is a FEMA Rex 84 designated detention facility. Here it is, and that's another interrogation center. Fort Stewart, Savannah area. FEMA, another Rex 84 designated detention facility. Now let's move to Hawaii. Now, many of you heard of the fire that took place, and many of you are wondering, how did that start, brother? Yisrael Ye'shobiyah. Please tell us. I will, because my father has given me permission. It started from the Inca chiefs there in Honolulu, who therefore purposely allowed the fire to start and to burn the people as a test, which used chemicals, as we just proved, from one of the facilities of Rex 84 to test it. And many people, thousands, died. And that whole area was burned, right? So what we see here and gonna see here in Hawaii is basically showing you the plan as they have tested nerve gas. As we see, many people died and many people had the effect from sleepiness, dizziness, had bad bowel movements and all kind of things, right? So Halawa Heights in Hawaii, it will be used as a crematorial facility located in the hills above the city. So now you understand why the fire started. This area is marked as State Department of Health Laboratory. O.W.R.S.U pointed, here it is, inwardly. There are several military areas that could be equipped for detention, deportations. Honolulu has a detention transfer facility at Honolulu Airport, similar to the construction to the one in Oklahoma that we was talking about earlier. The Pentagon-shaped building where airplanes can taxi up, and here it is, fuel or do whatever they have to pick up. Let's move to Idaho. Metadoc, Jerome County, used to be a Japanese American internment facility, but now has been turned into an American detention facility. It has been renovated. Clearwater is near Clearwater National Forest, near Lipo Pass, just miles from the Montana state lines near Moose Creek, This unmanned facility is reported to have a nearby airfield. Wilderness areas, possible locations have been taken down from all sites because this is another interrogation center. Let's move on to Illinois. Marcellus, located on Illinois River off of Interstate 80 on Highway 6. It is relatively a small facility with a capacity it can hold up to 1,400 prisoners, but now they have expanded. Even though once small, it is designed like prison facilities with barbed wire windows. But the real smoking gun here, everyone, is the presence of the military vehicles, UN vehicles. Being located on the Illinois River, it is possible that prisoners will be brought in by water as well as by road and air. This facility is approximately 75 miles west of Chicago. Oh, yes. Which have been stationed by National Guards who are training in the area nearby. Scott's Air Force Base is barbed wired for prisoners' enclosures, as we have reported. To exit just off base, more info needed as another facility on the base is believed to exist, as we have seen and heard more construction there. This facility is a satellite prison camp. That means everything works by digits. That means you ever seen the movie, I think it's called No Return. They was putting a collar around people's neck and it had lights on it. So if you ever try to take it off, it would completely just annihilate your head, blow you up. Because here it is, it was connected to the satellite. They even had movies where they put these bracelets on people. If they turn red, if you get within a certain range, it will actually blow you up. This is what we're talking about when we mention satellite camps. These are the people that therefore they will collar you or tag you with this. Perkins is called this facility. The federal satellite prison camp is also in the Illinois River, just south of Peoria. It supplements the federal penitentiary in Marin, which is equipped to handle additional populations outside on the grounds, because it's going to be a catastrophic chaos, everyone. Nations against nation is finna happen, right? Coming soon to a town near you, as I keep trying to tell you. My Father is trying to set the signal so you can have a warning in your head, because by now you should have a salvation helmet on, right? And we not even yet got to this book. Ranthroth is near Champaign, Urbana. This was a closed base back in World War II, but now reopened with barracks that were, here it is, put up in many of the barbed wires, but now is a medical facility and has been upgraded to. Additional fencing has been put up in the area. More needed information have now been taken down because here it is, they have enclosed the whole camp. Marin, federal penitentiary and satellite prison camp inside Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, is manned and staffed and have a population fully populated. Greenfield, which is another satellite prison camp, serving Marin, California, populated as above what we just mentioned. These are collar camps that comes with digital. Now you might see a lot of apartments now offering you the AI to get into your apartments or your homes. And here it is, it comes at a fee, but it's connected to the same satellite that is part of these camps. They launched that satellite in 2007. We watched it. Shawnee National Forest, Pope County. This area has seen heavy traffic of foreign military equipment and troops by the Illinois border, which is basically the Central Railroad areas, which runs through the area. And now here it is, suspected location. They have completely removed all signs. So no one can actually find this place. But maybe close to Vienna and Shawnee. Here it is, correctional centers located 6 miles west of Dickinson Springs. So we still have the information even though they took it down. So that is the address and the location. Savannah, which is northwest area of south of Mississippi River. Lincoln, here it is, Sheridan, Menard, these are all in Illinois, everyone. Pontiac and Galesburg. State prisons have been also refurbished for Americans, equipped for major expansion near the highways and railroad tracks. Waukegan, which was an abandoned industrial area, which have been refurbished for detainees of Americans. It is located on the west side of town, on the route of 17 of the main road, designated as a FEMA Rex 84 detention site. Equipped with water towers, incinerators, a small train yard behind it. And the near of the facility, it is surrounded by barbed wire fence facing inward, not outward, because they're not trying to prevent something from getting in. They're trying to prevent something from getting out. Let's move on, my brothers and my sisters, to Indiana. Indianapolis, Marin County, Amtrak railcar repair facility, which was closed and now reopened. Conversational sites of a major alleged detention investigation center or processing center. So now you see why Walmart also were behind. They are behind with this. They are in plan with this. And this is why they started closing their stores, to use them as underground to connect to this facility. People didn't know where it was, the railroad tracks were going, but they were going here. They all lead here. Although some source states that is the site is as referring to red herring. Photographic and video evidence suggests otherwise, because drones we have to use for some of these facilities. This large facility contains large 3 to 4 inch gas, and here it is, where they cut your head off, guillotines. And also 2 large furnaces, incinerators, helicopter landing pads, railheads for prisoners, red, blue, green zones for classifying and processing. Now, you might have know that we put in a video in our archive of the color codes that they will actually be putting on everybody's social security number. That's why a lot of your internets might not be functioning as well, because they're getting ready to do the end game. And here it is. All the books, once this one world religion start, will be confiscated, taken, and burned, incinerated, before the bodies start to get the burning, okay? See, they want to remove all truth, okay? Keep that in mind. Incoming personnel, it has a one-way turnstile, barracks, towers, high fence with razor wire, personnel with government clearances who are friendly to the Patriot movement took a guided tour of the facility to confirm this. So this is why I'm telling you, we have friends and brothers that has been giving information to those so we can spread it at the right time through the spirit of Yahuwah. So our brothers and sisters don't sleep on this, because here it is. Yah have told you, you better hope this don't happen in winter or on the Sabbath, and you'll find out why he said that. We're just getting to the tip right now, and we'll get farther and farther so you can find out that truth. This site is located next to a closed refrigeration plant facility. See that? Fort Benjamin Harrison, located in the northeast part of Indianapolis. This base has been decommissioned from active use by portions are still identical, converted to hold detainees. So half of this facility have now been transformed into now an interrogation center and then an extermination center on the other side. So they don't want to actually have to be able to ship you somewhere to go be destroyed. They want to actually, therefore, just get away, go on and do it right then and there. As soon as you say no, you don't even get 11 days. Helicopter landing areas still exist for prisoners to be brought in by air, land, and rail. Crown Point, across the street from the county jail, former hospital. One wing presently being used for county work release program. 80% of the facility still unused, but now is. It is now a FEMA detention center, holding facility, because all of those who go to the when they come to your door, they're going to actually trick a lot of the seniors and those who are in the hospitals who are sick and need breathing respirators, and these people will be taken here. Camp Afterbury facility is converted to hold prisoners and boasts 2 active compounds. See this? Presently configured for minimum security detainees. Now you understand why we just talked about the color codes, because some people are going to take the alliance and they know it. So for those people, they will not actually have to have so much heavy security, because these people will be so damn scared where they would basically kiss the boot of these people. Located just west of Interstate 65, this is where it's at, near Enberg, south of Indianapolis. Terry Hut is another correctional institution that was converted, which is now a satellite prison, those who wear the collar or the bracelet, and also is a deaf facility. That's right. So they got another one where these people do not even want to put up with hearing what you're saying after you say no. They're just going to say, all right, bye. And you're going to be dragged right off to the back, executed, and then shipped to the incinerator. Man, I hope my brothers and sisters stay ready and prepared for what's going to happen. Equipped with incinerators, reported to have a capacity of 3,000 people per day. It is also a FEMA Rex 84 designated facility located right there, Fort Wayne. This city, located in Northeast Indiana, has a FEMA Rex 84 agenda designated detention facility, accessible by air. So most people who are coming from other countries who also are resistant will be flown in by air to some of these camps. And here it is, the road and nearby rail. Kingsburg. If you never heard of this county, you need to start researching deeply, and also the addresses that we're giving, brother. This closed military base is now reopened to the state fish or wildlife preserve back in the day, but now no more. It's housed for Americans. Part of the base is converted to an industrial park, but the southern part of this property is still used for detentions of Americans. It is bordered on the south by railroads and is staffed with some foreign-speaking UN troops. And that's what some of our people have found out when they talk to some of these people who wear sunglasses, completely black, okay? A local police officer As we work with many, as we say, and know, as we won't reveal his name, who was hunting and camping close to the base in the game preserve, was accosted. He was rounded up by these men. He was warned by an English-speaking unit commander, here we go, to stay away from this area. See, he stumbled upon this area. Who was a Christian, but now is an Israelite now. It was suggested to the officer that the welfare of his family, here we go, depend on his silence, right? But now he's protected by Yahuwah, and the brothers and the sisters of the house of Judah cannot be touched. Located just southeast of La Pote, Jasper Pulaski Wildlife Area, Youth Correctional or Correction Firm is near it located. Facility once was closed but now have been refurbished, but is still staffed with more UN and foreign accustomed. Have now been working and renovating this place, and now it is ready. The total capacity right now has been taken down from all government UN sites the moment Barack left office. Gastron Afro Base. This closed or now reopened base still handles a lot of traffic and has a state-owned prison compound on the southern part of the facility. Unicor, Jefferson, providing grounds, southern Indiana. This facility was an active base with test firing occurring daily. So now you understand what Jadaham 13, 14, and 15 started the training when they came over here, these foreigners that people were seeing parachuting in their farmlands, okay, and landing in their fields. Portions of the base has been open to create an industrial park, but other areas still highly restricted. Camps is believed to be located downrange. This is the code name in order to even get in at one time. If you said downrange, then you had access pass. Facility, and we lost a brother behind that. Facility is equipped with an airfield and has a nearby rail line. Newport, which was near it, the depot, which used now is a testing place for nerve gas. And here it is, storage these nerve gas in this facility. Secret meetings were held here in 1998 regarding the additions of the Kiwaki River. Watersheds to the Harris River initiated Hammond. Large enclosures identified this Rex 84, which was designated, here it is in the city, because here it is, they are study digging right now. This is where they're going to actually be coming to incinerate more bodies here as they're digging more and more of this land up and buying a lot of land, man. Let's move on to Iowa, which now also have been enclosed and no one can get near it and only by drone. But if you fly a drone now over it, they would completely annihilate that drone by the FCC. So there's a lot of executive stuff that is going on here that has been signed, everyone. Let's move on to Kansas. Leavenworth or Leavenworth, U.S. Marshals Fed holding facilities for Americans, now refurbished for U.S. penitentiaries, federal prison camps for detainees, McConnell Air Force Base, which is used to be federal death penalty facility. See, this is basically when you go to the One World Court, which will be also enacted in the time of the One World Religion, because everyone will get a letter in the mail to sign this alliance of a peace and security. And here it is. If it don't be returned, then you will be coming, they be coming to pick you up. Concordia, which was a German POW camp now converted for American citizens. It was used back then for German citizens, POWs. At this location, but there is no facility there at this time. They tore it down and they're going to use the land for something. Fort Riley, just north of the Interstate 70, Airport, near the city of Manhattan, El Dorado. Another federal prison converted into a forced labor camp. So some of those who therefore joined this alliance of the one world religion, which was just finalized with the UAE for every country under the UN, so therefore they can move now into this action. Because why? My Father's words is his gospel has gone and almost there at the end of the world. So now you can see why they're working very fast since IVI has been created. And here there's many other brothers and sisters who have been decreed by my Father. The Unicorn Industries. Topeka, 80 acres has been converted into a temporary holding camp. So now you understand what I just said, why they tore down that prison. Because here it is, they want to use it for something. And now you see what it's going to be used for. 80 acres. Temporarily holding camp. Let's move to Kentucky. Ashland Federal Prison Camp in eastern Kentucky near the Ohio River, Louisville. This is a detention facility located near a restricted area of the U.S. Naval Ordnance Plant. Military airfield located at a facility which is on the south side of the city of Lennoxton, which is now American Rex 84 detention facility, which is having National Guards there on base and also has an airport facility to get more National Guards back and forth to attend the place to make sure no one walks up to it, okay? That's what the National Guards are used for. Manchester, which was a federal prison camp, have been refurbished into a camp to house Americans, located inside Dan Boone National Forest, Fort Knox, which is now a detention center and located near the Salt River, but is now a restricted area and as a base of local patriots advised by Black special forces in the UN. Gray helicopters are occasionally seen in the area. Heavy presence here, okay? More people are coming into the land, getting ready. This area was declared a UN biosphere. That's right, a biosphere. If you don't know what a sphere is, look up the word spheres. And it is an ideal geographical location for detention facility to house Americans of resistors and terrorists against the one world religion. Area is extending out into Tennessee between Lake Barkley on the east of Kentucky Lake and on the west, just miles from Fort Campbell in Tennessee. Let's move on to Louisville, Louisiana. Fort Polk. This is the main base for the UN troops and personnel. So they're here commanding drones. As you see, they're using more drones instead of fireworks. This is where they come from. In a training center for here it is, Armament of Americans. So here it is, they will be using drones to make sure that they can actually see and know who has guns and where they're shooting from. And here it is, this is why they're training on drones. Was used to be a German and Italian internment camp, but now has been, like I said, renovated. So now as we see Baton Rouge, which is This is what his camp is between, Baton Rouge and Hammond. Several miles north of the Interstate 12. This is its location. See, all of this you won't be able to find anywhere because these are documents sealed from the government, and they only didn't want no one to know where these facilities are at. So they completely took all information down, because here it is. You know, and I know that if the government do anything, they're supposed to let the people know, right? So therefore, they revealed information just for a minute, but not everything, like what you are hearing today here at IVI. But some of the stuff you have heard, and some of the stuff you haven't heard. And it's because those documents were sealed. And therefore, certain people had their hands on these documents, who therefore played their system, and therefore was found out, and therefore either escaped them with documents on USBs, and therefore some were actually executed or caught, but the documentation still got away to us and to many brothers and sisters abroad. This is all before you even notice people coming into your borders, thick like fog right now. Oakdale, this is how much your brother been sitting on a lot of information for the proper time. Located on the U.S. Route 165, about 50 miles south of Alexandria. Sorry. 2 federal detention centers just southeast of Fort Polk. So now you're seeing clearly, brothers and sisters, as I said I'm going to go through all of your states, and I am. So here it is, going to Maine. Holyton was also a Rex 84 camp now, which housed and will be a detention interrogation center. It's in northern Maine, off U.S. Route 1. Look at Maryland and D.C. Fort Meade, halfway between the districts of criminals of Baltimore. Data needed, which is now included. It will be used as a biological warfare center. See that? They are not playing around what's finna happen here. And here it is. They really, really want their own world to live as they want to live outside of the Hebrew Bible and against my father, your father, Yahuwah. So this will be a biological warfare center located in Frederick. Let's go on to Massachusetts. This camp is called Edwards, Otis, Camp Cod. This was an active base, but now active. Is being and has been converted to hold many Engler patriots. That means England. Yeah, they're going to be running too. Capacity unknown, because they have taken down this information because they have extended it. It is now an active detention facility. Let's move on to Michigan. Camp Grayling, Michigan, National Guard base have severely confirmed it as a detention camp. Classic setup with high fences, razor wire, and also guillotines. 12. Guard towers are very well built here and seen sturdily from the highways. Multiple compounds within large enclosures, which you can see from the highways. Deep within forest areas. SAR, Air Force Base. Upper Peninsula, south of Marquis. No data available, but now available by the Bay City. Classic enclosure with guard towers it has now. High fences have been installed now. A close to shipping port is also now installed. Saginaw Bay, which connects to Lake Huron, could be a deportation point to oversee St. Lawrence Seaway. So now here it is. This is by water, and here it is coming in also into these bases by boat. It is located southwest, possibly here it is in Barine County. It is now a detention center in Langaston, which is by FEMA Rex 84, which is called Detention Facility for Americans Detainees. Let's go on to Minnesota. We're traveling. I love to travel. Duluth. I went there personally to visit the place because I was there doing some things for Father, which is a converted federal prison camp, and it was called Camp Riley, but now it is a new prison to house American detainees, resistors, who are religionist freaks. That's what they say. And that means their own people, because mostly when you go out to Duluth, it's mostly a lot of Esau's there. Oh, believe me, I got a lot of looks when I was there, me and the brothers. These sites are confirmed hoax, right? Hancock County, NASA test sites, National Forest. These two supposed camps in Mississippi, here it is, they made sure no one knew that they exist, but we got the information. Like I tell you, some brothers and sisters lost their lives. Members of Mississippi militants have checked these out on more than one occasion, beginning back when they first appeared on the internet and throughout the Patriot movement. So this is how far this information that I am giving you goes back. By Commander D. Raynar, a Mississippi militant. See this? So now here it is. We're moving on to Missouri. Whew, Father. People need to know what's going to happen. People need to know where they're going to end up, some of you, if you don't fight for your life, like I've been saying. This is no game. I tell you, I really assure you, people. And I want my brothers and sisters to make sure they share this information with people. Because here it is, we're talking about your area and everybody's area. Missouri Richards, which is a Air Force base converted, located in Grandview near KCMO, a very large internment facility, which they have built on this base. I mean, they're going to take in a lot of people for interrogations here, and they will be exterminated quickly. Soon they say, no, I won't take the one with religion. Okay, thank you. Next. This is how this is going to go. They won't be trying to haggle with you. By this time, you already done went to the one world court, and this is why you've been shipped here. Because when they come and get you for not signing that paper, you go into court first without no attorney. So keep that in mind, my brothers. And they might be catching your kids at school. And this is why most of the people done pull their kids out of school to be at the house. And those who don't know are still putting their kids into physical schools because of certain teachers need the money, okay? Because that's their career. But here it is, and they find it hard to teach children online. So they're letting that fly. Any children that want to go to school to a physical, let them go. Because those are the ones we know we're going to round up easily, and their parents going to be also rounded up. It's a plan. I'm reading the plan to y'all. Everybody want to know what's going to happen. I'm trying to let you know. And all the base personnel are restricted from coming near it. Fort Leonard Wood, situated in the middle of here it is, Taiwan National Forest in Pulaski County. This site has been known for some UN training, Jadaham 13, 14, and 15, okay? Also home to the U.S. Army Urban Warfare. If you haven't heard these names, you need to write it down and look them up and do your research of what kind of groups do certain things. It is a training school called STEM Village. Every military person that's been in the military have heard about STEM Village. okay, which is the Warsaw. Unconfirmed but now confirmed reports have been released to us. A large concentration camp facility. Now you understand the Jews who therefore was put in Hitler's camps. This will be exactly like that. The worst of the camps. And this will be for the high profile prophets of us Israelites. Most brothers will be coming here if they're caught. Because here it is, they know that we've been the ones giving the most information out to the masses of brothers and sisters. So we will be taken down or hunted down severely. And therefore we will be also put abroad on their televised television to be shown like they did with Hussein as we're being executed. That's that in Missouri and many others like it. Let's move on to Montana. Maelstrom Air Force Base, which has been renovated now as a UN aircraft group station, and also have now included a detention facility. Let's go to Nebraska. Scott Bluff, which used to be a World War II German POW camp, but now have been renovated for Americans. It is located northwest corner of State FEMA Rex 84, which is called Detention Facility. And here it is, it's south central part of the state. So the more south you go in this state is the more you start seeing the restrictions. Look at Nevada. Let's go to Nevada. One sec. Look like I'm gonna have to soon, after a while, close it and then come back today right at 4:30. But I'm gonna keep going. I have 25 more minutes. But here it is, everyone. Stay tuned. Even after this broadcast goes off, I will be back on by 4:30, picking up where we left off. So just keep that in mind. I must finish all of this. So Nevada, Echo, one second, before I even do that. Oh, I might not stop. 1 second. So now, as we move to Nevada, gets very hot in Arizona, but I'm built for the weather. Elko, which is in Nevada, 10 miles south of town, which is the O.W.R.S.U camp, they call it, is located in the O'Neill Basin area, 40 miles north of Wells, past Thousand Springs, west off of Highway 93 for 25 miles. You must go to find it. Perishing County camp is located at I-80, and the marker is 112 south side of the highway, about a mile back on the county road, and then just off the road about 3/4 miles. You should hit it right there. You should be able to actually touch the fence Mecca Battle Mountain area at the base of the mountains is Nellis Air Force Range. Northwest from Las Vegas on Route 95. Nellis Air Force Base just north of Las Vegas of Highway 604. Stillwater Naval Area Station, east of Reno. And here it is, they're still working things out over there in these areas by training their one world troops and foreigners. New Jersey, Self-Dix, McGuire Air Force Base have now been renovated, possibly for deportation points of detainees, which lots of pictures are taken of detention compounds and posted on the internet, as you have. Straddles Texas state line, just south of Alamogordo. Fort Bliss has thousands of acres for people who refuse to go with the new order. See, this is another base that I just talked to you about a moment ago. Because here it is, certain people want you executed right away. Soon you are there, okay? Because here it is, once you leave the court, you go there. And here it is, they're going to know who they're executing. This was the home of the German Luftwaffe in America, major UN base. New facility being built on this base right now, according to recent visitors of our brothers and sisters, keeping an eye out. Many former USAF buildings have been torn down by the busy and rapidly growing German military force located here. See that? Fort Stratton currently being used as a youth detention facility. Didn't I just tell you your children will be rounded up at schools for those who have their children still going to schools? Approximately is 35 miles north of Ruidoso, New Mexico. Not a great deal of information has been released because they have taken it all down. But now you're hearing this information, brothers and sisters, of where these locations are at if you're living in the areas near these places. Lordburg location, White Sands Missile Range, currently being used as a storage facility for the United Nations vehicles and equipment. So this is where all of the trains are coming to get these vehicles that you might see on the railroad, because they're coming from this location. Many have asked on YouTube, we don't know where we seeing all these UN vehicles coming from. Now you know the location and where these vehicles are at. Observers have seen this material brought in on the White Sands Rail, Oro Grande, New Mexico, which is about 30 miles from Texas on the New Mexico border, my brothers and sisters. So now you're understanding why here it is, a lot of Spain who are basically in higher places are with this plan to annihilate the truth and to push those who don't want to go with the regulations of their system to put them also to death. Okay, let's move on to New York. Fort Drum. Some of these places y'all have never heard of. It's because it has been kept on a top secret alliance. And here it is. This is why you started seeing many people in the government step down, because they started to know that we had people stationed everywhere. And here it is. They had to root out anyone who wouldn't be fully with their system. So they allowed these people to step down, knowing that they'll be dying soon as well. Now in New York, Fort Drum has 2 compounds for Rex 84 detention centers, which is headed by FEMA. As you see, FEMA is working right now in Florida, As I had told you, my father was about to tear that place up. Many of y'all didn't believe me in that video. But I'm telling you, the Son of the Most High is here. It has always been here with you in spirit as well. But here it is. Someone had to blow the trumpet so you can understand what your situations really are right now. Do with the inflations and the trickery and the lies of your government, and not telling you that the end is about to come. So now this Rex 84 detention camp, which is headed by FEMA detention facility personnel, Auburn detention facilities, and also Altesville, which was a federal correctional facility, now converted, near Millerton, Buffalo, which is run now by FEMA detention facility. Now we move on to North Carolina. Take your shirt off, ring it like a helicopter. Camp Levine, the New River Marine Air Force Field, which was now converted to a facility occupied for detention center and interrogation center compound, which code name goes by Mock City, M-O-C-K. So that was code name on the military personnel to when they were heading to these facilities. They would actually say we're headed to Mock City, which is in North Carolina. Fort Bridge Special Warfare, which is now under training centers for foreigners, has been renovated, which was a World War II detention facility. Andrews, federal experiment in putting small towns under siege. Now you know Gaza and Habala. These are ones been spoken in the word who were being destroyed now. Gaza, war have started. Lebanon war, as we said, the 9 wars, what many of you have never known about because everybody only thought about Armageddon. But there was things that had to line up to get to you, to get to this point, to see the destruction is coming and the Dome of the Rock will be destroyed, people. Understand that. Begin with the hunt for survivalist Eric Rudolph. No persons were allowed in or out of town without federal permission, and travel throughout town was highly restricted here. Most residents compelled to stay in their homes. See this? By force. So that's what I'm telling you. What they're going to do now with the letters that's going to pop up in your mailboxes after the election, you're going to have one thing to do: sign it or not. And then they're going to have one thing to do: come and confiscate you. Not your guns, you. Unregistered Baptist pastors. See this? This is where they're going to be headed. Those who basically saying, okay, I'm not taking the mark, but you already took the chip. Okay? But now here it is. The mark is the one with religion, which you signed up for under them with universities. Okay? You didn't teach Yahweh. You taught Jesus to our people, right? So most pastors who thinking they're doing the service of my Father will really be helping us execute you. Unregistered Baptist pastors from Indiana, here it is, and many other places will head there, which is, here it is, in Andrew, affirm these facts. Our brother Andrew, who is a pastor and was there in North Carolina, cannot disclose location. But go to North Dakota now. Minnock Air Force Base, which has been renovated, home of the UN Air Group. These are people that fly. These are all pilots. They train here to maneuver, to go around buildings, our buildings downtown, all kind of things. Go to Ohio. Camp Perry, site renovated for Americans, once used for POW camps to house German and Italian prisoners in World War II. Now understand, some tar papers covered huts built for housing these prisoners are still standing, okay? Recently, the constructions of multiple 200-man barracks have replaced most of these huts. So now here it is, they have renovated the huts from World War II to make them more even bigger to house. So you got to ask yourself, who? Connecticut, Cleveland, Columbus, Rex 84 detention facilities are there. And here it is, how much they can hold. The data has been now taken down. Lima, here it is, which is another FEMA detention facility, another facility located in or near Old Stone Quarry near Interstate 75, if you wanted to find this facility. Railroad access to property and fences. So now you see, as we are now in North Dakota, they've been using your tax dollars to build all of these facilities, to refurbish them for the plan of the one world order. And here it is, many people are sleeping, thinking that they got more time on their hands when they're not making the proper preparations with my Father Yah to hear his voice and to receive the command of his spirit. Amen. To love him as he loves you. Let's look at Oklahoma. Tinker Air Force Base. All base personnel are prohibited from going near civilian detention centers area, which is under constant guard here. Rogers World Airport, which is a FEMA Rex 84 main processing center. This is another processing center in Oklahoma. See, you're being surrounded. And here it is, for west of Mississippi, all personnel are kept out of the security zone, because if you get there, they will kill you. Okay? Any hikers or bikers or anyone that stumbles up on this will be killed on the spot, and you won't hear about it on the news. Federal Prisoners Transfer Center located here as well. A Pentagon-shaped building where airplanes can taxi up. Photos have been taken, which I don't have them here right now. And this site will try to post, here it is, more allusions to this site. Because here it is in Oklahoma. When you go in Oklahoma, you don't see a lot of brethrens there. But here it is, a lot of Hamites have come out of Oklahoma here, into Phoenix, into Illinois, and into Indiana, okay? And you got to say, why is they got Oklahoma plates on? We ain't used to seeing no Hebrews coming out of Oklahoma. So now you got to ask yourself, how is you passing Hebrews on the road or the highway with Oklahoma plates, dressed in garments from Africa? Okay, think about it. Whoo! El Reno has been renovated, which was a federal internment facility, but now is an internment camp for Americans, currently open, and a population of 12,000 is in this area of Oklahoma, but it's on Route 66 near Mir Alister, near Army munition plant properties. Former was a German and Italian POW camp, designated for future use now, which is now present use for Americans. St. Steel, Lawston. We also see the same thing there. Let's move on to Oregon. Sheridan for Federal Prison Satellite Camp northwest of Salem. Josephine County, which has now been converted to an internment camp for renovations. Sheridan is a FEMA-run Rex 84 center for new prisoners spotted. That means here it is. All those that they hunt down and find, they will be brought here from that area. Pennsylvania, let's move on. Alienwood, which was a federal prison camp and now refurbished, which is located south of Williamsport on the Susquehanna River. It has a current inmate population now, which is the homeless, of 300, and it is identified as William Past as having a capacity that exceeds 15,000 and have acres of 400. Wow, that's another big camp in Oregon. If you live in there, you need to go see it for yourself. Indiantown, Gap Military Reservation. Oh, yes. Those who run the casinos are in on it too. This is located north of Harrisburg. It used to be a POW camp, but now has been renovated. And guess who did this renovation? Jimmy Carter. And here it is. It was used for Cubans during the Morrell boat lift. So now understand that many administrations have been working for a one world government with many alliances. Camp Hill State Prison once was closed, now to an Army depot. Here it is. Lots of rooms located in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. New Cumber, here it is, Land Army Depot. This is all, here it is, training and on warfare and many other things, my brothers and sisters. Located off of Interstate 83 and Interstate 76. You will find it. Shakolil Heaven Federal Prison Camp, which also was reconverted, north of Reading. Now let's move to South Carolina. One second. Let's move on to South Carolina. Greensville, unoccupied youth prison camp. See, now you see it's been refurbished for children, because here it is, children going to be housed separately from their parents. And here it is, if you're not talking to your children about Yahweh or about the Bible, believing in Yahweh and not Jesus, Lord and God, or explaining to them who the Jesus or God you really are referring to, then your children will be taking an oath unnecessarily because you haven't taught them. So now here it is. This is a camp in South Carolina. Total capacity have been taken down, but the last time we checked, it was 500,000 it can hold. Let's see, Charleston, Naval Reserve, Air Force Base, which is a restricted area on Naval Base. Let's look at South Dakota, Yankton, which is used to be a federal prison camp, but now have been refurbished to house American patriots who resist the order of Rex 84. Black Hills National Forest, north of Edgemont, this is where it's at, southwest part of the state. And here it is, it was renovated for Americans to be put there. Moving on to Tennessee, Fort Campbell, next to land between the lakes, to airfield of US 41. Militant federal prison, which was converted into a camp of interrogation. which is next door to Memphis Naval Air Station under the ground. Crossville, we're still in Tennessee, which was German and Italian prison camp renovated for Americans. It is completed with barracks. Behind the camp in the woods is a training facility with high-tide ropes and rappelling decks. All right. Some of the brothers there have seen this and have the pictures, which I don't have with me. Nashville, there are 2 buildings built on state property that are definitely built to hold prisoners. They are identical buildings. They look just alike, side by side on Old Burley Parkway. High barbed wire fences in a curved, here it is, inward fence. See this? It goes in a curve. So this is what our brothers have shown us. And here it is of certain of these camps. Let's go to Texas. See, we are traveling. I love to travel. Austin, Robert Mueller Municipal Airport has a detention area inside the hangar, if you didn't know that. Biostrop prison and military vehicles and motor pools are housed here as well with the UN and America. Eden housed 1,500 beds, privately run federal center. Now, this is for all the military people who chose to stay with the one world government and therefore step it up a ladder, because here it is, they were against my father, your father, Yahweh. But here it is, we have the information to show that Eden in Texas, and that facility, it housed them because this is where they rest. They have 1,500 beds privately run by the federal center, currently holds illegals as well, opposite of the center. Fort Hood, Killeen, newly built concentration camp with towers, barbed wire fence, vicious dogs from England that would tear a human apart, that roams the castles. Okay, you will see these dogs all around this area, just like also in the movies, right? We see in England these are the Omen, that vicious dog. He had to make sure he put up and made it run down in the basement. Mock City is a new world order shock treatment. So everyone go here talking about the mentally insane, those who are heavily on medication, they got a treatment for them too. Those who are artistic will go here. This will be the shock treatment, because they want to test on these artistic children, those of St. Jude as well, those parents who therefore will resist after they've been lied to and got all this help and now find out they've been riding with the devil with the funny hat. This forced training, and here it is, brothers have had some footage of this area, which here it is in Waco. A new revelation, Reese Air Force Base, which now holds a bigger shock treatment facility, which is a FEMA Rex 84 camp detention center. You just can't make this up, brothers and sisters. This is the truth. You can go look this up if they let you find it. Shepherd Air Force, which is Wichita Falls, just south of St. Steels, Oklahoma, which is now a FEMA Rex 84 designated American, here it is, detention facility. House for those who have the color code. We just talked about the color code. North Dallas, near Comraton, water treatment plant, close to interstate and railroad. This is how close this is. They're going to control the water and everything. Remember Bill Gates walked in the treatment of new water being used as wastewater? Half of you are drinking wastewater right now from your tap, which you shouldn't be drinking. Mixic, east of Waco, 33 miles from this, was used as a German facility camp, but now has been refurbished to house all American and foreign, those who are coming to this country, like south of the border. Those are where we're going here as well. Amarillo, which is another camp. They got 3 camps here, man. It is so big, which have now been renovated to detention centers for interrogation as well. St. Bliss, El Paso, extensive renovations has been going on here, and nobody is showing this on the news. But this is why we have to show y'all all about the CFR, because many people didn't know nothing about that paperwork, because America didn't want you to know about their deal with Canada and the southern border. So now St. Bliss, El Paso, extensive renovation of buildings, and what patriots have been able to see, many of these buildings that are being renovated are being surrounded by what? Razor barbed wire fence. Beaumont, Port Altar area. Hundreds of acres of federal camps already built on large scales for detention centers and shock treatments. Designed also with guillotines, complete with double rows of chain link fencing with razor type concertina wire on top of each row. Man, they mean business. Some, but not all. And these facilities are currently being used for low-risk state prisoners who require a minimal supervision. That means those who have been snatched off the streets, homeless, on what's that, California, they say Skid Row. A lot of them people didn't go with those people. And I'm glad that the brothers and sisters went up there to tell them, don't do this. People are coming to round y'all up next month. A lot of them brothers didn't believe us. But then when we told them, they seen what happened to them. People freely went. And then here it is. You might can see it on YouTube. Brothers are saying that we didn't go with that bus of people. And we don't know where they went. But now we're telling you where they are. Okay? This is, man, this is war, brothers. Fort Worth Federal Prison under construction on the site of Carswell Air Force Base. This is where it's near. Let's go to Utah. Menard County, Central Utah. Used to be for Japanese in World War II. Now it's refurbished for you, Americans, us, Israelites. Fort Douglas. This was an inactive military reservation, but has now been renovated, my brothers and sisters, from the World War II camp, concentration camp, to the American housing detainees. From Rex 84. Bird, here it is, Refuge, west of Bridgeham City, contains internment camps that was built before the game preserves was established, which we said the end game. That's what it's referring to. See, everything been secretly plot while everybody was asleep. But Yah says, not only will you be waking up to the word of the prophets and that I am in, giving you this undisclosed knowledge, research, but here it is, preparing you and your family and giving you an idea of what's going to happen and how you need to be ready for it. This is no game. Cedar City, we're still in Utah, east of the city, have now been taken down off the record of how much it can hold. Wendover, which was an internment camp, now refurbished for Americans. Skull Valley, southwestern camp of William property, east of the old bombing range. Camp was identical, discovered by one of our Israelite brothers and sisters and their son, who were rabbit hunters. They were discovered and apprehended by SWs. See this? But the information was found by another brother, because our brothers come prepared. If we are taking, we are to leave breadcrumbs to make sure it's found while we're taking, like Hansel and Gretel. You leave something for someone to pick up and find. Let's go on to Virginia. Fort A.P. Hills, which is called Frederick Byrd Rex 84 facility. FEMA is running this facility right now. Why? Because I told everyone the whole South Coast is finna be torn up, unlike they have ever seen. Since 150 years, it has never happened. We're not playing with you. Estimated capacity here in Virginia can hold 45,000 people. Petersburg Federal Satellite Prison Camp. This is what it is. You get a collar or a wristband. You get 11 days here because they are going by your color code, because they've been watching you every day of your life. And they've been watching brothers and sisters who will be there for resistors strongly and those who will be weakly as well. So this is why these are put in place. And they don't really have to worry about you running off, because soon you get outside a certain area, you will self-destruct. Now, this is a federal prison satellite now camp south of Richmond. Let's go to West Virginia. Now we know our people ported Jamestown in 1619, coming out of Spain from El Yanka. Okay, look him up. That was an Israelite, strong Israelite soldier of the house of Judah. Barclay, Artisan, Louisburg, which is a detention camp refurbished, now converted actively, and it has a complex capable of holding several times their current population. So this is huge. You cannot miss this place. And many brothers and sisters who are in West Virginia and Virginia know what's going on down there around the time of the building and the digging and seeing all these tractors and stuff. Is presently a woman federal reformation. See, all the women will go through a process, like I have told you. Men will be separated as well as the children in all different categories. And the pressure would be put on, because you know the devil tempted Eve, right? So here it is, some women gonna crack and won't want to give up their flesh because they have worked in these government buildings. And now here it is, they're going to be given the opportunity to decide. That's why I'm talking about the 11-day thing for some people. Morgantown Federal Prison Camp converted, which is located northern West Virginia, just north of Kingwood. Mill Creek, which is a facility, detention facility. Kingwood is nearly built, here it is, in Ready Detention Center camp of Dawson Army Reservation. And here it is to house those who are autistic for Camp Dawson. I don't know why my eye keep going this. Whew. Let's move on, everyone, to Washington. See, we're traveling. Because here it is, y'all want to know and tell you where all the locations of how this one world government has set up their chess pieces. Just setting them up. They put pawns out there as well. And here it is, they've been moving the board very strategically, allowing one to not even know, right under the nose of the Americans. Washington, Seattle, Tacoma, SeaTac Airport, fully operational. Federal Transfer Center. See this? This works with Walmart. Walmart would be a receiving center, so-called. Once you in, you ain't never getting out. The doors will lock, and you cannot break the glass. Okay. And when you walk in, you will see a line of tables with a bunch of seats, as if you just came into this country trying to be a citizen. But it'll be on a different note, because there'll be cameras in every corner of the room. And there will be a bathroom which will be exposed, where you cannot go in and close the door, and no windows here. And my brothers who are living in Seattle need to investigate this. Okanagan County, border of Canada, is a site for a mass concentration camp capable and will be holding hundreds and thousands of people for slave trade. This is probably one of the locations that will be used, brothers and sisters, to hold hardcore patriots who will be held captive for the rest of their lives. Not the rest of their lives, but to the rest of their lives ending, because you will be killed here. Sandpoint Naval, which is in Seattle, which is a station there, FEMA detention center used actively during 1999. Here it is. WTO protests to classify prisoners, those who are basically war criminals who resisted the system in their own countries, such as Guantanamo Bay, have been transferred here, as they now have been letting out vicious terrorists. These are some of the people who basically have now turned their hearts around, knowing that they were wrong, serving the wrong purpose, who now will be here being executed. St. Louis, McCord Air Force Base near Tacoma. This is one of the several sites that may be used to ship prisoners overseas for slave trade. Now let's go to Wisconsin. St. McCoy, Rex 84 facility with several completed internment compounds. That means these are individual compounds to house people as they get off trains. And here it is, buses. Oxford, central part of the state, used to be a federal prison, but now is a satellite camp. Those who will wear the collar or the bracelet. And this will be run by FEMA Rex 84, who therefore runs this facility. Wyoming, Hart Mountain, Park County, Norfolk Cody, used to be a Japanese internment camp, ready and now open and operational. Lamara, here we go, FEMA detention facility. La Ramar, that's what it's pronounced. Salat. Southwest, near Lyman, which is now a FEMA Rex 84 detention facility. East of Yellowstone, manned internment facility is manned. You can see the guards there right now. It is investigating patriots who were apprehended by European soldiers. Didn't I tell you you'll be hunted down? And that's why Yah says, here it is, be prepared, be ready, do not return back to your house when this time happens. Because here it is, European soldiers speaking will be here to round you up, to find you out. That's why they trained here, Jadaham 13, 14, okay, and 12. Speaking an unknown language, these men. Federal government assumed custody of the persons and arranged their releases or non-releases. Other locations are in the United States, all around. Now, here's my side note. There are many other locations not listed above, which I have talked about, that are worthy of consideration or as possibility as determined or detention camps. But due to the space of limitations in the time needed to verify this information, my brothers and sisters, could not be included, because here it is, it has been included. Now, Virtually all military reservists, posts, base, stations, depots can, here it is, be considered highly suspects, as you have seen all over YouTube, these UN vehicles, because of its federal land. See, the land is owned by federal, if you didn't know that, people. This is why when people buy a house, they still pay taxes on the land. You're paying that tax to federal government, right? Also fitting these categories are regional airports, which I have included into this documentation. And international airports also has been included into this documentation, which also falls under the federal jurisdiction and have limited access to these areas. As you have known, Denver have always been spoken of about their curiosity of having underground bunkers. But now you know about mental hospitals, closed hospitals, nursing homes, closed military bases, wildfire refuge, state prisons, toxic waste dumps, hotels, and other areas are all very degrees of potentials being a detention camp revealed. The likelihood of the sites being suspect is not suspect, but not known, is now known, excuse me, Salah, which increases the transportation access to these sites. Because here it is, they only put a piece out for you. But in order to get this information, people have to be inside, having high positions, and to therefore betray that government to get out the information so people can really know what is really coming. So in my notes as I continue, railroad heads, navigation waterways and ports, interstates and U.S. highways are now being released and discovered. Some facilities are disguised, but now have been undisguised by us as industrial and commercial properties ran by federal governments, camouflaged and even contained inside large buildings of Indianapolis, factories, and many inner city buildings left vacant during the deindustrializations of transformations of America has been quietly acquired and held by federal hands. Sometimes, as we have seen, you have seen some releases on YouTube. But now, back to the story of documents. Let's move to Canada. Because when we talked about CFR and the deal that the Bushes made, many people didn't have no clue about that. When we talked with Trump, this is before Kanye West met with him and did not do exactly what he was supposed to do. So he's been set apart. So he joined Christian background churches, right? Osteen. So here it is. He knew he was found out by us. He wasn't a brother. So here it is. We tested him to the core to make sure. And he thought he was getting access to us by the little information, by us telling him he should vote for Trump this time. And so he sat down with a legend at the desk while Trump was giving his recollection of why they're here, right? So now everything is coming together about a lot of people, right? So now let's get to Canada. Our Canadian friends tells us that virtually all Canadian military bases, especially those north of the 50 parallel, are all set up with a concentration camp. See, this is information coming straight out of Canada that we have. All been taken by USBs. Some brothers and sisters have lost their lives getting into New York, okay, from Canada, because this information must be released at the proper time. Because I told you this is the complete siege, the end of your world. Not even half of these can be, here it is, listed or found. But here are a few sites that, here it is, that your brother Yisrael Ye'shobiyah have been given permission to release to the public. Because many know exactly what we are talking about. We have many governments watching us right now and watching you right now. if you are basically falling in line with the truth. Canada, Suckfield CFB base, just north of Medicine Hat. If any of you have been to Canada, this is the street and address. Less than 60 miles from the USA. Primrose Road, Lake Air Range is 70 miles northeast of Edmonton. Wainwright CFB base, halfway between Medicine Hat and Primrose Lake. Fort Nellis, northernmost point on the BC Railway line. This is where you will find this base, which is being used for shock treatment and also other advanced studies of bioweaponry. Fort McPherson, very cold territory here because we're in Canada. Northwest Territory, Fort Providence, located on Great Slave Lake, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Department of National Defense Reservoir and others have been built here and came here to build. They taken foreigners to come to help them out there. Oversees these locations as well. Guantanamo Bay, Puerto Rico, federal prison facility, its capacity has been extended and that number is unknown. Last time we had the number, there was around 275,000 that they can house. Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba, U.S. military corporate base, presently home to 30,000 Cubans, 40,000 albinos. That's our brothers there with the blonde bleached hair, and those who are Esau Europeans. You came out of Noah, who was an albino. Total capacity back then, what we knew, housed 1 million. Oh yes, 1 million. Now I would actually read exactly here another note. Guantanamo Bay. Now understand that there are over 600 prison camps in the United States, all fully operational and ready, my brothers and sisters, to receive American prisoners, detainees. They are all staffed and even surrounded by full-time guards right now. But they are all, some of them are empty, but all are in existence. These camps are to be and are operated by FEMA Rex 84 in game. That's why we tell you complete siege in that video of the 9 wars, because it starts from the east. Now understand that should martial law be implemented in the United States, which it will through the chaos of nations against nations, because I'm going to get to this book to let you see what my father is going to show you here, because I have to go over the legwork first. Rex 84 program was established on the reasoning that if a mass exodus, see this, CFR, of illegal aliens cross the Mexican-U.S. border, they will be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers by FEMA Rex 84 in game. Allowed many military bases to be closed down and to be turned into prison concentration camps after action in game is initiated soon. Operation Cable Splinter, Garden Plot, these are code names that was once used, are the 2 sub-programs which will be implemented once the Rex 84 program is initiated by Trump and the surrounding UN influence. For its proper purpose, Garden Plot is the program to control the population. Cable Splinter is the program for the old orderly takeover of the state and local governments. That's the executive orders that I was talking about today. By the federal government, FEMA is the executive arm, everyone, of the common police state. as we see. Will be held up by operations. The presidential executive orders already listed, because every time a president comes into office, what do he sign at the desk? Executive orders, my brothers. And people are out there protesting for the wrong thing instead of the stop of the executive order. But see, this is all my Father planned for those who are asleep. But here it is, for those who are awake, you're prepared in your spirit. Because here it is, you're leaving this place and you're going home to the kingdom that is to come. Federal registers also are part of the legal framework for this operation. The camps have all railroad facilities, as well as roads leading to and from the detention facility. Many also have airports nearby. The majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000 prisoners per second. Currently, the largest of these facilities is just outside of Fairbanks, as I had told you, in Alaska. The Alaskan facilities is a massive mental health facility, which they would do the shock treatment I told you on the autistics and those who have mental problems. And here it is, they would just use them as test lab rats. Can hold approximately of 2 million people. A person named, which I will not give the name of our brother, wrote an article on his discovery of the camp located in Southern California. His findings are as follows. Over the last couple of months, several of us have investigated their soon-to-be prison camps in Southern California area. See, brother, we are not playing with anything, sister, as well. As you can see, this is evidence coming together on your puzzle pieces. We had heard about these sites and wanted to see them for ourselves. IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites. The first ones we observed was the Palmdale, California. It is now operational as a prison at the moment then, but now is. But is a masquerade as a part of water facility. See this? Bill Gates has his hands on this. Now, why would there be a facility of this nature out in the middle of nowhere with absolutely no prisoners? The fences that run for miles around the place is a large facility, all point inwardly. Like I tell you, CeeLo, one of my brothers who is a musician, said, I wonder why they got the fence pointing in. Because it's to keep us in, not to let us out. In certain suburban neighborhoods, they have put these things as well. Around large facilities, all point inward, and there are large mounts of dirt and dirt mounts surrounding the central area, so the inside area is not visible. See this? From the road. That's why I was telling you, they done found out that there was a special remnant of Israelites who were within the government system that got in. They were sent to do a purpose and done the purpose to gather this information. Once that information got a notice of alert, many people in your government started stepping down. Okay, just to throw that out there so you can understand and catch up what I'm talking about. So inside area is not visible from the road. There are 3 large loading docks facing the entrance that can be observed, my brothers and sisters, from the road. What are these massive docks going to be loading? That was the question then, but now we know. We observed white vans patrolling the area. See, our brother, here it is, they did the legwork of what Yah sent them to do, so we can have the information. Nothing done under the sun will never, ever be unrevealed, because my Father knows everything man is doing. We observed white vans patrolling the area, and one came out and greeted us with a friendly wave and followed us until we had driven safely beyond the area. What would happen? What would have happened to them? decide to enter the open gate or ask a question, they would have been shot. This facility is across the street from the Palmsdale Water Department. The area around the water department has fences pointing outward. You need to research if they still got it, to keep people out of this dangerous area so as to not drown. That's so-called what they say. Yet across the street, the fences all point inward. Why? To keep people in, like CeeLo said, my brother. What people? Who are going to be the occupants? That was the question then. But now you're getting a very idea of what's going on here. There are also signs posted. Like when you go to some of these addresses on these roads, my brothers and sisters, in your state, you're going to see these signposts letting you know you have hit a restricted area now. Before they didn't have certain posts, but now they're putting them up because now the executive order getting the right to pop you right on the spot. There are also signs posted every 50 feet starting state of California, trespassing, loitering, forbidden by law, section, I'm going to give you the section, 555 California Penal Code. Look that up. Now, looking at FEMA, the deportees were forced and will be forced into rail cars. Most of them, which were, here it is, windowless and have no windows, unheated cable cars, squeezed in so tightly that most were forced to stand. Now, remember when Hitler took the Israelis? The sign at the entrance says, Pearls Bloom Operation and Maintenance Subcenter, Receiving Department. 34534 116th Street East. This is the location of this building. There is also a guard shack located at the entrance. Also, here it is. We veered, as the brother said, we veered into this facility, but did circle. We didn't veer into they didn't go in, but here it is. Actually, what he's saying, we actually covered all the ground. We was able to cover all the ground to see exactly. Like I said, I don't have the photos here with me, but here it is. The documentation is speaking clear. But did circle around it to see if there was anything else visible from the road. We saw miles of fences with top points all directed inwardly. There is a railroad track that runs next to the perimeter of this fenced area. This, my brother, dictated everything well. The loading docks are large enough to hold railroad cars. Watch what we say here. What they are planning for this facility. They could easily fit 100,000 people in this area, and who would be occupying it though? Israelites, resistors of the one world religion. Because if you love your Most High, I don't care if you are in Jehovah's Witness and talking about Jesus. If you say he's so righteous, and here it is, you believe in that name, why would you want to put him with any other deity like Nebuchadnezzar? Okay, think about it. Because this is the final test for everybody. This is going to show you if you really is an Israelite. Because here it is, anybody can die, but what is you going to die for? This is the point. Amen. Another site is located in Brand Park in Glendale. There are newly constructed fences with new wiring and point inwardly. The fences surrounded a dry reservoir. There are also new buildings situated in the area. We questioned the idea. There were 4 armed military personnel walking the parks of this area. Since when does a public park needs armed guards? When you go to the park right now, do you see armed guards? Ask yourself. So why would there be armed guards here? A third site we visit was in San Fernando Valley. To the water district, again, the area around the actual water district had fences logically pointing out to keep people out of the danger zones. And the rest, of the area, which went on for several miles, was ringed with fences and barbed wire facing inwardly to keep what or who in. Also interesting was the fact that the additions to the tops of the fence were fairly new. So it wasn't rust like these been sitting here a while, right? Somebody truly been refurbishing these buildings. Not even to contain any sign of rust. Within the grounds was a huge building that the guards said was a training range for policemen. So now even the policemen that you see are really not police of the natural police, because all of those police have stepped down, and now foreigners have come into the land and stepped into these suits. Now you know why the chick, Israelite sister, got shot in her own home in the head. Okay? A normal policeman wouldn't have done that if you go 10, 15 years back. So you know you're dealing with a totally different police force, which had help by many senators, Kamala Harris, and many other Barack Obamas, Clintons, and Bush. So now we understand there were newly constructed roads, new gray military-looking buildings, and a landing strip for what? Police cars were constantly patrolling several miles perimeters of area. That means they didn't want you near this place. From the parking lot of the O.W.R.S.U restaurant, a better view could be taken of the area that was hidden. So our the brothers went to a restaurant, which was all Esau there. But here it is, they ate, and here it is, they were able to still see the working of these people coming and going with trucks and everything, right? So now, as he continued in this letter, hidden from the sight and from the highway, there were an area that contained about 100 black boxes that looked like railroad cars. We had heard that the loads of railroad cars had been manufactured in Oregon. Didn't we just talk about Oregon? Outfitted with shackles. So inside these railroad cars that everyone saw 5 years ago, did you not know that there's shackles, neck gear in there to hold prisoners? Would these be of that nature? From our position, it was hard to determine, but we determined. In searching the internet, understand, we have discovered that there are about 600 of these prison sites around the country on the UN and government sites, which have now been taken down overnight. They are manned, but yet not contain prisoners in most. Why do they need all of these non-operational prisons? See, this was all the guessing back then, my brothers and sisters, that many of our brothers and sisters was wondering by seeing these rail cars and all of these UN. Now let's go here. Turn with me, if you will, to Matthew's. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Now that you have the wisdom of all of this that surrounded you, that's why I always tell brothers and sisters, do you know that you are surrounded? Do you know that you are completely surrounded? Do you not know that they are feeding you lie? Do you not know? But now that you know, what will you do? What will you run to now? Because if you ran from a country, you ran right into the hands of the devil in this country. So now I'm asking, what will you do still? Brothers and sisters that's from afar, that come into this land, America. What will you now do? I'm asking. I want to answer. Because here it is, this is not no game. Are you truly prepared for what is at hand? What my Father has just allowed to be released to you. So all the puzzle pieces can be put in your salvation helmet of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let's get to this book. I have to stand. Oh boy, we are into it now, boy. Let's look at verse 3, Matthew's. And we're going to go through this book so everyone can now match what you just heard of this briefing of IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites, about you being surrounded and giving you addresses, receipt, proof to go look it up and find these things, because they have taken it down from all sites. But my father have already had these things years and years ago. Your brother's been sitting on. It's so much more I got to talk about and give, but at the proper time. Now in verse 3, he says, we're finna go through it. As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, now this is in Israel, everyone, outside of Jerusalem, the disciples approached him privately and said, "Tell us, when will this happen? And what sign or alert will there be of the end of the generations?" Here's what my Father Yahweh said, as I am in obedience to his truth, here with him today, bear witnessing to the teachings and the releasings of this documentation. He says, "See that no one," what? "Deceives you." That means by trick. Now, in one of our videos yesterday, we show how Samson's wife tricked him to tell the riddle. So here is what's going on today. False prophets, false evangelists, and many other false things are happening. And many are being deceived without information, true information, because these false prophets won't show you that information. So this is how you would now know how not to be deceived. Verse 5. I can only explain this because my Father is doing the explaining. I'm bearing witnessing to the teaching as he's teaching us all and downloading the information. Verse 5, "For many will come in the wrong name." It says, "in my name." Well, if everybody was saying Jesus, Jesus, how would that be wrong? So you clear on this now, that the wrong name has been uttered for centuries, right? So he said now in the scrolls, the real way, many will come in the wrong name. He didn't say names. He says name. "I am the Messiah," saying, or they were sent by the Messiah with no evidence of proof or no documentations or nothing to give you better than what you got now. They will come saying that they are the Messiahs, the prophets, and they will deceive many. Now you understand why I came saying remove blemish. Because here it is, if you are educated enough to know that Jesus, Lord God, Allah, Muhammad, and many other, Buddha, Shiva, and many other Latter-day Saints and Jehovah Witnesses is not my Father's name. So why would you continue on using that? To appease a devil? So therefore you can make sure that you don't die with the cap? Quit playing. Say the truth. Verse 6, "You will hear of wars and of reports of wars. See that you are not what? Worried or panicking by the alarm." That's what the scrolls really say. "For these things must happen," and they are happening right now. The last revealing that I gave is about the destruction of Florida, which haven't happened like that since 150 years. Look it up. I'm not playing. "See that you are not panicking or alarmed, for these things must happen, but it will not yet be the coming of the end yet." Now, verse 7. This is what we was talking about with the camps. What Trump said, first day, 90 days in office, which is all a plan of endgame, as I have allowed you to know and as I have spoken the truth. And here it is, to allow my brothers who are Israelites, who are high priests chosen as well, to get the blemishes off before, here it is, this happens. Because here it is, you do not want to remove your protection, even though you have all that wisdom. Fix your mouths. What goes into the mouth does not defile, but what comes out, that is law. Nations will rise against nations, verse 7. Kingdoms, England and many others, against kingdoms. There will be what? Famines, shortness of food by farmers who are complaining about the produce and about the crop, as you have can see in many news channels would air certain things in this nature. Earthquakes from place to place. Now you're seeing everything that has been spoken have now come true and is true. And the biggest earthquake that's finna split is coming into the election, that everybody should take heed. Because everybody in the whole world is gonna feel this rumbling. You don't have to just live in California, Arizona, on the western parts. Everyone is finna feel this earthquake. I guarantee you. Verse 8, all these are the beginning. Now, when a woman gets pregnant, she has labor pains. And here it is, the baby reacts without notice. Amen. So now what my father is saying, this is going to happen without notice to those who are asleep, dizzy, and therefore sick. Because here it is, they're not picking up what the prophets and the servants of my father are telling them. Because here it is, they are still lost. Verse 9, then they will hand you over. It says persecution. No, they will hand you over to prisons, camps. Because here it is, they have a one world government already in place. The UAE just signed the one world religion to bring security and peace under religion. I don't know how many of y'all caught that last week. You might have slept on that one. But brothers and sisters, your brother Yisrael Ye'shobiyah, who is with Yahweh, and here it is, bear witnessing to this teaching, tell you, yes, this is finna happen. They will hand you over to prisons, and they will what? Kill you, and you will be hated by all of the one world nation because of my name. You see that? Because if it was Jesus, why would there be a problem? If it was Allah or Muhammad, why would there be a problem? Everybody would know that's the name, right? But see, you got to go far back to the Moabite. Yahweh. They thought he was a storm god because he tore up things by storm. As my father has power because he created the earths and the winds, in the clouds, the sky, and everything in them. So why wouldn't he have power to tear up things whenever he put his finger on it? Now you see why Florida is going through a catastrophic, because I told you a week earlier, today news for tomorrow. And then many will, as he continued, verse 10, will be led into sin. Because I told you, many women are going to crack. Your wives, your girlfriends, who are not prepared to know what's coming. But now you have the information to get your house in order, to prepare your woman for the battle. Because here it is, your children are going to need to know as well. Because here it is, what is about to happen is going to come out of nowhere. They will betray and hate one another, it says. See this? Because here it is, many people will choose to not die, to give up this flesh, because they have been put under so much pressure. And when you put a pressure to an open wound, either you can handle it like a soldier or handle it like a wimp. And my Father says, no coward will be in my kingdom, his kingdom, your kingdom, that is to come. Verse 11, many false prophets will arise and deceive many. This is why I'm telling brothers, if you are using that name Jesus, you are considered false, even if you have all this wisdom that you are telling the people. You know better. So therefore, my Father will not hold back his hand on you. You will be saved with all the fake pastors. Verse 12. And because of the increase of evil doing, the love of many will what? Grow cold. Because now these who have remained will now take the one religion mark. Because here it is a separation period now for those who are just in relationships, who are now saying, no, I don't want to join that. I don't want to put Jesus with this. I don't want to put, this with this. Because they're referring to the purity of the spirit. Even though they're using that name, my Father already knows their hearts. So yeah, they will be grafted in and they will be set apart from their counterpart. Verse 13. So now I'm explaining Matthew's how it had never been explained, because I'm reading it as I'm looking at the scrolls. But the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. Verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom of righteousness of Yahuwah, is supposed to be here, will be preached throughout the world as a what? Witness. Haven't I told you? I am in obedience and I bear witness to my Father's teaching here at IDI. No part of it is me. He downloads the information and I am willing to obey, to allow him to use this body as his will. And all of this gospel of the kingdom of Yahweh will be preached throughout the world as a witness to all nations. And then the end will appear. The end will appear. You see that? On those 42 months. Because I told you, we count by thousands. Man count by hundreds. Totally different math. Now let's look at verse 15, if we will, everyone. When you see the desolation abomination. See, black matter has been pulled out for a reason, because I told you in 1999, Halil, the devil who you call Satan, was being put down. And they needed to break through to get black matter. Okay? Because they needed to pick the abomination, right? From the administrations of your governments, who are evil men and women. When you see the abomination spoken of, here it is, through Daniel the prophet, standing in the set apart place, let yourself understand by spirit. Then those who is in Judea must flee to the mountains. I'm talking about Israelis, those who bob at the wall, who my Father says are the Satan, synagogue of Satan. But many of them will turn, because my Father will show a sign. And here it is. The sign has already been released. They are listening to the Son of the Most High daily. Because you got now infiltration on all of your devices by the executive order. Verse 17. No, continue. Then those in Judea must flee to the what? Mountains. Petra. A person on the housetops may not go down to get anything out of his house. That means this is for everyone around the globe at this time. Chaos coming out of the nations against nations. Because here it is. Those who have come into the border is not going back. Not alive. 18. A person in the field must not return to get his coat. Woe to a pregnant woman, nursing mothers in those days. See, this is why I tell brothers and sisters, quit trying to get your woman pregnant. Because what I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to withhold that. Because you missed your opportunity for that. So there's no need to be pregnating women now. Or you are basically putting a very heavy curse on that woman. We just showed you about the camps that certain women will be going to. And on the love of a child, women will give up their voted right to my father into the man that they're with. So realize you will have more problems than a man who have a woman without a baby. That's what this scripture is saying. Verse 20, pray that your flight or your chaos not be in a winter or on my Sabbath. What is the Sabbath now? Most of you know. Saturday. So now here it is. Man who go to church, woman who go to church, they believe in the Sunday Sabbath of the Catholics, right? They believe in Sunday. Verse 21. For at that time there will be a great what? Tribulation. Such as has not been since the beginning of this world until now. Nor ever will it ever be again, because this is the removal of evil and the receiving of good. Cutting the vine, receiving the cluster of Israelites returning. The 144,000 and the 1/3 of mixed tribes, who are basically brown, black, and white, skinned or albino. And if those days has not been shortened, no one will be saved. You see this? If it wasn't for us being used by Father Yah, no one would be saved, because you wouldn't be able to take heed of the truth. You would be still in a church being lied to, giving away your money on a daily basis. And therefore, it wouldn't be no flood of the border, because it wouldn't be noticed, because it wouldn't have been happening. But it's happening because it needs to be noticed. But for the sake of the elect, who is the elect? The 144,000 and the 1/3. They will be shortened. And if anyone say to you, look, here is the Messiah, or there is the Messiah, do not believe it. I heard of a brother we had to put an indictment on, who was calling himself Yahweh, Yah, Jew. And we wondered. This is a manipulation. So you have to understand yourself. False prophets are in the land. False messiahs, false prophets has arise. It said will. Now we're talking about the present. Because when this was wrote, it said will. Because it hadn't happened yet. But now it has. And they will perform all kind of smart little tricks on you, which they call signs and wonders, so great as to deceive. Amen. Deceive you with what? Your own book that you don't understand, because you haven't prayed to my Father, the right Father, to receive the Spirit of the Son, to raise you up in your knowledge with a salvation habit back on, so you think right and understand the doctrine before you. If it were possible, even the elect would be tricked. See, your brother Yisrael Ye'shobiyah, I don't get tricked by other groups. I know which one are the brothers and which one's not. I know which ones are the imposters, and I know the ones that's not. Behold, I have told you beforehand. See, I am reading as my father read in the synagogues of Isaiah in his time in that generation. Because Father wrote the book. So we know it because we come from him. So everything we can say lines right back up with us because it's in us. The whole book, not half. Verse 26. So if they say to you, he is in the desert, Arizona, Texas, do not go out there. If they say he is in the inner rooms. See, all brothers out there on the streets basically have to realize what's really truly going on and understand that this is a call of alert for your understanding. This book has been in your presence, in front of your eyes multiple times. You have read these scriptures. Many have gotten it wrong, but now laced with logic and precepts of the camps that's surrounded the whole nations. He says, do not believe it, for just as lightning comes from the east and is seen as far as the west, so will the coming of the Most High, wisdom, which is through the Son, Yahweh. That's what it's supposed to read in the scrolls, but in the book, it reads differently. Wherever the corpse is, see, these are the witnesses, the two witnessing groups, who therefore was Catholics in all different type of denominations, who now have heard true Israel, speak the truth, now turn from their ways and come in grafted, because Father has touched their heart in a way that they know that that is the truth. That one is a servant sent unto us to help us with our off-balance selves. So here it is. We will be killed. Then we just show the concentration camps. You'll be rounded up. And all the gangs in America will not be able to fight this war for you. Trust me. There, the vultures were gathered. Verse 29. Watch this. Because many church people say, man, we finna get up out of here. We're going to beam right on up. But here it is. I got something for you to know about. Because here it is. Right after, immediately after the tribulation of those days. See, we only get half, and then the devil gets half. The sun will be darkened. That means here it is. It will be, this is a sign. There will be darkness so severe in this land and around the globe, unimaginably. Because here it is, we improved the Euphrates River, have released all of those evil entities to match up with the human entities who are wants to be evil today. Those who follow cults, black magic, and all the other kind of deities serving Christianity. These are the deceiving spirits put on you to keep you separated from us. The sun would be darkened, and the moon would not give his light. The stars will fall from the sky, because as you know, the firmament, and now we explained that there is no rocks. Like NASA have shown you, those are green screens. And they are floating, and here it is, in some type of building of NASA, making you think they're floating out of space. And here it is, Yah says no one can break the firmament of the earth. It is solid. No one can leave this earth unless I graft you and receive you. That's the only way you're getting out of here. So here it is, all that trickery with NASA, talking about they sending themselves up to space. No, they're only going to the moon. And I quite assure you, they are walking around like you're doing just on earth right now, not floating. So now the stars will fall from the sky. That means all vapors of air and water will not be seen of reflection to give you the illusion of a star. And the powers of the heavens will what? Be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of the Most High will appear in the heaven of the kingdom, and all of the tribes of the earth, of Israel and Judah will mourn in joy, and they will see the Son of the Most High as they are with him, coming up on a cloud with the power and the great glory that he hath given unto them. And he will send out his angels with a trumpet blast, and they will gather. See this? Just sped it up a little bit. The elect. So let's let you know, brothers and sisters, these camps are going to kill most of us that they can catch. And here it is. This is telling you prophecy right now. Okay? And they will gather the elect from the four winds or the four corners of the earth, from one end of the heavens into the other. Then learn a lesson from the fig tree. We'll skip down to verse 36, because here it is. It was explaining how the coming of seasons, how you need to be right in your season for this information they're receiving. The unknown hour, the day. But of that day and hour, no one knows into now. Neither was the angels of heaven knew, nor the Son, but rather the Father knew all along what was happening before he downloaded the information to every brother and sister that is going to be in this kingdom of ours. Believe that. For as it was the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of the Most High, in the days before the flood. See, we're giving you a warning. Then we say IVI is set apart, not in a bad way from our brothers, because we know who our brothers and our sisters is who are teaching around YouTube without even have to meeting them or anything. We know, because it's about spirit. My Father already knows. I know. They know. We're brothers, sisters, who they are. They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. Don't you see that today? They're building all of these buildings and trying to put up more houses at like the time of Noah. So now you can understand where you are at and how close you at, because you see this. They're building like crazy. People are missing prophecy, but now you're being revealed the prophecy. What is really going on? How to now not be in the world loving it, thinking that everything is well. Oh, no. Up until the day that Noah entered the ark, until we entered into the spirit of Yahweh, coming out of ignorance, here it is, we leaving everything behind. Verse 39. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So will it be also at the coming of the tribulation, at the end, which comes with Yahweh and the saints. One will be taken and one will be left. Now, this is why I tell brothers and sisters it's important to be married, because Yah gave you a parable. I am one with the Father, and the Father is one with me. So that means that any woman and man that gets together should be married if you have kids. This is a thing you can go to a courthouse or whatever. You don't need a big wedding now. Get married and love each other as one. So therefore, this scripture won't separate you, because he said one will be taken and one will be left. So if you come one in marriage, because you become one flesh with your husband and your wife in one spirit. And that one spirit is in agreement with Yahuwah, which is basically, here it is, praising you for joining yourself to one relationship, not multiples in the desires or sexual needs. 2 women would be girding the meal. One would be taken and the other will be left. Therefore, stay awake. Verse 42. Many people are sleeping comfortably. Oh, we done made it to America. And even the Americans who are in America. Let's go shopping. Let's go do this. Let's go. No, let's pick up the Bible. Let's pick up the truth. Let's hear what's about to happen so we can get ready. That's what you need to do. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Almighty will come. See, many people don't even recognize Yah because they've been listening to so much bull in their life. They don't become bull-ish. And here it is, every day they wake up like ish. Be sure of this, verse 43. If the Almighty of the house had known the hour of the night when the thief was coming, it says, Master, he would have stayed awake. See, anybody that know that they got good stuff, you don't want to get robbed. And if you know you've been robbed one time, then therefore you're going to make sure you reinforce to make sure you don't get robbed again. So he says, stay awake. Don't let nobody rob you from your truth to what you were hearing, because the devil works viciously to try to steal you away, because he don't want you saved, because he know his children are not saved. So they're working for their father, who is not a father, but here it is, they're working and calling him father. When my father said, cause no one father but me. Do you see the blemishes on the brother and the sister? And not let his house be broken into. Verse 44. So too, you also must be what? Prepared. See, this is my father's words, y'all. This is no joke, what I'm talking about. I don't care if you listen or not. Because here it is. It is cool for you to be destroyed if you don't listen. But it is worthy if you listen. So too, you too also must be prepared. For at an hour, see this? For at an hour, now I have told you, at a second. And this second is not counted as man's second for what's about to come. Trust me. Do you not expect the Son of Man will come and has come? See, as this was written, it was saying will, like it never will happen. But now it has happened and you have heard with 2 ears. And if you can't read, but you can listen, you have just got downloaded true information, because no one have ever told you this or shown you this. To match the logic of the camps that you never knew about your government, who've been working with other governments outside of a government to formulate a plan of end game on you, because you are pulling for the light. But even though it's in different names, they want to put an end to that. Verse 45. Who then is the faithful? See this? This is why I'm telling my brothers, remove them blemishes. You know dang well you don't have to say God. God was in Ekron in Babylon, ancient Babylon. This is why Abraham left the place. It was full of gods. So quit trying to lie to people and be undercover. Because if you're undercover, you are now being found out. You are a false prophet. I don't care how much wisdom you know about a book, because this book ain't in you. So quit prophesizing when you are not a prophet, because you're lying straight out your mouth and it defiles you with blemish. Who then is the faithful servant whom the Almighty has put in charge of his household? I say I am from Judah. I am. To distribute to them their food of spiritual life. That's how I have come. For the proper time, didn't I tell you? this information was being released at a proper time before we got into the book? Words are there for a reason. People have forgotten the scripture because they're just reading. No, I don't even need a book. And I can read the scriptures and say scripture that would crush everyone. Because here it is, no blemishes on me. I assure you that. And I tell everyone I meet, you will see my face again. You can believe that too. 46. Blessed is that servant whom his master on his arrival finds doing so well in righteousness with no blemish. That's what's written in the scrolls. But they got it, has arrived finding doing so. So what? Verse 47. Amen, I say unto you, he will put him in charge of all of his property. What is the property? Israel. And here it is, they're coming under Judah, who is set apart. I am from Judah, the northern parts, Benjamin, Levi. Okay? So here it is, we are the head. Israel became the tail, southern border. Why? Because they are still keeping Jesus, Lord and God, appeasing a devil that don't love them and won't take it easy on you when it's time to put you to death. Because most of brothers, like I say, and sisters, will be put to this test. And yes, like I say, many people can die for a cause, but what are you truly would die for? Okay? When therefore you don't have the truth. Because you must have the truth to die for something that is truthful. I say to you, he will put in charge all of his property, who is Israel. But if that wicked servant, here we go, says to himself, my master is long delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants. This is the brothers that's trying to steal brothers and sisters from the truth. And eat and drink with drunkenness. Because here it is, them brothers are not really righteous. Them sisters are not really righteous. Because they're with men that are not righteous. Okay? So now here it is. This is the tale and the sign and the wonder, so you can know who is truly here as a brother and a sister. Okay? Didn't my father use the scriptures when they came to say your mother and your brother is here? What did my father say? Who is my mother? Who is my brother? You all are my brothers and my mother and my sisters. Those who believe in the words of the commandments of my father's law, who receives the word of the testimony of my father. That's what he said. Verse 50. The servant master would come on an unexpected day. See? And at an unknown hour. Now it's seconds. And will punish him severely. This is why I tell my brothers and my sisters, quit saying Jesus, man. Quit saying God, man. Don't read that book with that. You know better. Unless you're an imposter, false prophet. And will punish him severely. He didn't say lightly. He says, I'm going to punish this false prophets and these servants of false prophets severely. I'm going to take everything. You can guarantee that. You waiting on the elections. Y'all better wait for it because it's almost time to go home. And assign him a place with the hypocrites. See that? That means people who basically have so much blemish. Even though they read, they don't receive the bread of life. Because you can't have bread without the testimony, too. Where there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth, meaning every false prophet will stand before us, trying to make a plea without moving their mouths. Because in this kingdom, you don't use a mouth because you have now been cut off from using it. Everything is consciously said. And here it is. They will feel every bit of judgment being put on them at this time in the kingdom hall of my Father's house. $48. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is long deprived, let's go to 52, 51, 50. I'm back at 50. The servant's master would come and on an expected day in an unknown hour and will punish him severely and assign him a place with the hypocrites where there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. So now I'll tell all false prophets, shut up. Because here it is, you know who you are. And I tell you, as with the Son of the Most High, shut up. And if you do not know what that means in Hebrew, then you are lost. That's just one command that's being uttered today. Shut up. Not meaning what you think I mean. Go to an elder and find out what the word shut up means. That's what's going to happen. So until we meet next time, next week, we'll be on a Tuesday. I share my love with all my brothers and my sisters, the household of Israel and Judah. You know now what is about to happen to your land and around your world. I assure you, Florida will be completely in a moment. Because all of those who are hiding, who have done the evilest of evil, is getting water in their holes like a mole. They're getting flushed out. And it's been great things done there wickedly. So understand what's coming. There's a bigger boom coming. And as you keep your eyes on Florida, keep your eyes now on New York. Until we meet again, I am your brother, Yisrael Ye'shobiyah. I send my love and my Father's peace. Shalom.